The call came while my boots were still by the door, dust from a foreign desert shedding onto my mother's rug. "Come home," my father said. His voice was ceremonial, as if rehearsed. I followed the sound of cutlery and murmured prayers into the dining room. Everyone was standing. My brother stood closest to her. Their hands were joined, not clasped clean. Her eyes found mine last. They didn't flinch. They slid away. That was when I noticed her belly. Round, certain, alive. Silence fell like a held breath. My mother smiled first. "God has been generous," she said. I felt something loosen inside me. Not pain, not anger. A latch. My brother cleared his throat. "We didn't plan it." I nodded. Training takes over when the mind refuses. Assess. Breathe. Do not react. She didn't say my name. She squeezed his hand. My father raised his palms. "We bless what's already written." The room smelled of food and forgiveness. I tasted iron. I had crossed borders for her. Slept with my rifle like a second spine. Counted nights by stars that weren't ours. I had carried her letters folded against my heart, the ink smudged by sweat and rain. Now she stood there, swollen with a future that had learned to live without me. No one asked me anything. No one apologized. I felt the war finally end. They spoke around me, not to me. Plans. Names. The soft logistics of a life that had already moved on. My brother wouldn't meet my eyes. He stared at the table like it might absolve him. She said, "It just happened." I searched her face for the woman who had promised to wait. The one who said, "Distance sharpened love." All I found was a stranger wearing her mouth. Denial arrived late and left quickly. The timing didn't work. The math refused to lie. I counted months the way I used to count rations. The child was older than my homecoming. Older than my last letter. Older than my hope. My mother touched my arm. "You'll understand." I almost laughed. Understanding was my specialty. Understanding orders. Terrain. Consequences. This was different. I realized then that the betrayal wasn't the child. It was the audience. They had all known, watched, blessed. I had been a story they finished without me. I excused myself politely. Years of discipline wrapped around my voice like wire. In my old room, I sat on the bed and stared at the wall where her photo used to hang. The nail was still there, empty, waiting. I felt nothing, which frightened me more than rage ever could. I stayed, quietly. I smiled at dinners, asked about prenatal appointments, congratulated my brother with a steady hand. Inside, I built a map. Dates, messages, bank transfers. I requested phone records under the pretense of consolidating family plans. I listened more than I spoke. People reveal themselves when they think you're broken. She avoided being alone with me. When we crossed paths, her words came fast, rehearsed. Guilt has a cadence. I noticed how my brother's stories changed, depending on the room. How my mother edited timelines. How my father's blessings came with conditions. I ordered a DNA kit online. Discreet shipping. Neutral packaging. I told my brother it was for medical preparedness. He agreed too quickly. At night, I lay awake and cataloged my thoughts. I refused to feel until I knew. The test arrived. I held it like a ceasefire. Not peace, just pause. I watched my brother collect the sample. His hands shook. Mine didn't. Days passed. The house hummed with anticipation. Baby names floated through hallways. My silence thickened. They mistook it for acceptance. Silence is often misunderstood by those who need noise to survive. The results came in an email at dawn. Probability 99.99%. My brother was the father. There it was. Clean, clinical, unarguable. I printed the report, folded it once, slid it into my pocket. At breakfast, I asked a question I already knew the answer to. When did it start? She dropped her spoon. My brother stood up too fast. I placed the paper on the table, turned it toward them. No accusations, no volume. Her face collapsed. My brother's mouth opened, then closed. My parents stared at the numbers like scripture. I wanted to tell you, she whispered. I nodded. I know. That landed harder than anger. Truth always does. I didn't raise my voice. I stood. I'm leaving, I said. Today. My mother cried. My father prayed. My brother begged me to understand. I understood perfectly. I handed my brother a folder. Inside were documents transferring ownership of the family land I had purchased years ago in my name. Quiet investments. Long planning. It's yours, I said. Raise your child there. He looked relieved until he read the clause. Use rights only. No sale. No leverage. A gift that binds. I turned to her. You chose certainty over absence. She reached for me. I stepped back. I won't haunt you, I said. I won't explain myself to anyone. I picked up my bag. At the door, I paused. The war taught me something, I said without turning. Survival is about choosing what you carry. Then I left them with their blessing. I built walls of stone far from that house. Work came easily. Success followed discipline the way night follows day. They wrote. I didn't answer. Time did what it does. Best it revealed. The marriage cracked. The land became a cage. The story they finished without me learned it had an ending of its own. I felt no joy in their unraveling, only distance. Silence had been my weapon. It still was. I never returned. Some victories don't make noise. They just last.